the loss of our son, Ibrahim Khalil. And they have supported me right from the moment Ibrahim Khalil was killed up till today. From the moment I went to, even the information came in up to my journey to Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, and they received myself, my elder son, and the corpse of my son here in Abuja when we came back. So they have been my support and backbone, and they have stood by me saying that how can we as lawyers let this happen to our son? And it has been happening to other children. We need to do something about this and bring it to the notice of the government, the Nigerian government. So that is why we sent our petition on the mysterious death of our son, Ibrahim Khalil Bello. We are here to appreciate the efforts that have been made since the time I sent in the petition, and we are aware of Barrister Abdullahi Bello has been in contact with me all through, and we are aware of the efforts that the Commission has made so far and has been making in terms of unraveling the death of Ibrahim Khalil in Girne, Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. My son was a civil engineering student in the American University in Girne, Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. He was in his third year, remaining just 2 semesters for him to finish, when we got the rude shock, of his death. I had gone for conference to the US and went also from US to the UK, and I was in constant touch with him. When I left US for UK, suddenly he sent me a message telling me that he wanted to come back home, that he could die there without anybody batting an eyelash. And I was in a dilemma at that time because I was away from home. I was thinking of even flying to Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus when I read that message. But I didn't know, I wasn't sure of the visa restrictions there. I knew that if you have a UK or US visa, you could just get the transit visa, because you just get a transit visa if you're going to Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. So on that Friday, because he was killed on the Friday night, on that Friday afternoon, he called me with a friend's number, and we spent over an hour on the phone with him. Then I told him I was going to return that night. My flight was to Nigeria was from 10 in the evening from UK. So I landed Abuja here on that Saturday morning. I couldn't sleep all through the night, the flight. So I just switched off my phone and went to sleep, because we were going to do a budget presentation. But by the time I switched on my phone, somebody from my office contacted my driver asking if I have a son studying in Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. So my driver said, why are you asking? She just said, she just kept quiet. You know, when she now realized that he didn't know anything, she just said she would call him back. And then he asked me to call her. I tried, I couldn't reach her. Then I called my husband. I now heard him crying. So he said, one of the ex-students in that school, Girne, who is living in that Girne, northern Cyprus, called my eldest son to tell him. The news they came out with that very day that his body was found was that he was suspected to have committed suicide, that he fell from a 7-story building. So that day, I attempted to buy a ticket to go there. The school did not contact me, being his next of kin, formally. So I tried, but somehow the purchase became stuck, and I couldn't fly that night. But on Sunday, I purchased another ticket and flew to Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, and 2 of the students were waiting for me in the airport. So on that Saturday, they had spread the news all over the media that this child committed suicide, that he fell from a 7-story building. So when these 2 boys, one of them is from Kaduna, that boy that called my eldest son is from Bauchi. When they came to pick me up, I asked them, I said, what happened? How can you be here? Something like this will happen to Khalil. They now said, truly, that when they heard of the news, they rushed. They said, when they heard that they are saying Khalil committed suicide, they rushed. They said, not the Khalil they knew. That Khalil, even trekking from this point to that point, even to walk, he will say, no, we will have to enter the bus. So he doesn't like anything to touch his body. So how can that be? They said it was a lie. They didn't believe it, because they are aware of such killings going on in that place of Nigerians, and always is the same story. So they rushed to the mortuary. 4 of them went. So when they went, one of them, they were begging the mortuary keeper to allow them to see Khalil's body. He refused. He said he was only told it is only the parents or police that will be allowed to enter. But they kept begging, and luckily for them, the corpse of a lady was brought. So he said, okay, let them quickly enter and see him, and then come out. One of them was on phone. That's one of the boys that went to pick me from the airport. But the other 3, they went in. So he was telling me, he said, Mama, I went, I saw Khalil. And Khalil was, well, they laid him face down. He said his body was neat. He was wearing his jalabia and his jeans. And there's no sign of any breakage on his body. His head was full of his hair, black hair. There was no injury at all on his head. The only place, he was telling me, he said, the only place I saw a wound was by the side of his face, that there was this small wound here, but it wasn't a gunshot. That was where blood was gushing out from and soaked his body. And when they checked, they checked, they said, Kai, no, there's a foul play here, that this boy was killed. So on our way to the university, so I landed in the morning of Monday morning, and they took me to the school. Before I arrived, they knew I was coming, because one of the boys that is like their liaison officer regarding Nigerian students, who is a guy from Plateau, by name Jude, was there. And so we contacted him when I was coming to inform them that I'm on my way, since even that Saturday. So we went. Before I arrived, the police were waiting for me. These children, when they were driving me to the school, because from the main city, Lefkosia, to Girne is about maybe 20 minutes drive or so, they were telling me that they intended to get me a hotel accommodation, and for the night, then they are going to get a house where I will stay, pending that all the students, they want to come and condole me. So as soon as we reached the school, the registrar of the school, she was kind of nonchalant. She was even smoking her cigarette. She just looked at me and said, sorry, that is what happened. Then quickly the police came in. They took me to another room, a man and a lady, the IPO. They now started telling me that my son fell from a 7-story building. I said, how? They said he was homeless. Do you know that he was homeless? I said, even if he was homeless, is that a reason that he will kill himself? I said, look, Nigerians, we don't just kill ourselves. More so, Northerners, Muslims, they know the implication of suicide. And for what? And normally, if you are going to commit suicide, you leave a note and give a reason for your action. But I don't even believe my son committed any suicide, So the man said, well, he didn't have accommodation, so on and so forth. I had even forgotten that my son, I had sent him money to pay his accommodation off campus in November, that very year, around August. So I insisted that he should send me a copy of the contract, the lease contract. But because he sent it with somebody, a friend's number, because of the shock I was in, I even forgot when they were trying to push it that this is the reason that he committed suicide. I said, I don't believe. They were trying to railroad me. I said, look at the message my son sent me. He said he wanted to come back home. I don't know what happened. We were conversing very well when I was in US, by the time I came, but something happened. And immediately I saw that message, I became sick. I was dizzy and so on. So he called me. He said he wanted to talk to me. I said, I was not feeling well. Then he just kept sending me a message, Mama, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Well, how are you feeling now? And he didn't explain to me why. Then I said, he said some people cheated him, they collected his money and so on. I said, look, go and stay in the dormitory. Since they used to cheat you, anyhow, they just cheat you. Just go back to the dormitory. He said they will not accept him. I said, by the time I go back to Nigeria, I will pay the dorm, I will call the international office, I will pay the money again for the accommodation. Just go back to the dormitory. So he didn't tell me what was happening. But all I know is that on that Friday, I sent him, I said, okay, search online. If you don't want to stay in the dorm, search online. If they cheated you, collected your money and so on, search online and see if you can get a house. Then tell me so that I can make the payment myself, so you don't have to go through agents that will cheat you. There was no reply. Then after some time, I just saw a message saying, okay, Mama, let me go and sell my phone. I said, sell your phone? For what? If you don't have money, I will send you, because he has an error account. I said, is it that you don't have money? I'm going to send you money immediately. Then I transferred like 30,000 to his account. Even up till now, that money is in his account. He didn't touch that money. Then he now called me with another guy, a Nigerian guy, number one George. He's from the South. And then he was telling me that he wants to change his university. I said, why do you want to change? You are in 300 level. Why? He said, because he doesn't want to see some people in that school. I said, is it that the school wants you to, the school wants you to leave, or have they driven you away or something? He said, no, it's not that. It's just that he wants to change his school. I said, how are you going to do it? Are they going to transfer? He said they will transfer his because I had paid for that semester, they will transfer it to the school he's going to. So I said, why don't you just try and see that you finish this school, this boy. Then it was as if he was, at that time I didn't know, he was maybe trying to say his bye-byes to me. He was asking me, he said, Mommy, is it because maybe I'm doing bad things to you? That is why things are happening to me like this. I said, oh, what did you do? He said, sometimes I'll ask you to send me money for something and I spend the money. I said, it doesn't matter. He said, but if I have offended God, if I beg God, will he forgive me? I said, why not? God is very forgiving. Then he didn't, he took like an hour. He would just keep quiet. I said, will you go back to the dormitory? He would just keep quiet. Will you go back? He refused to. I said to her, you see, I have to go and buy a box. I'm going back to Nigeria this night. So, I know earlier, his brother joined me because his dad's passport had expired. So his elder brother joined me in Cyprus before I was able to see his body. But that very Monday, like I was saying, I digressed. That very Monday, these police, they kept asking me questions. They were shocked to see that message. So they were asking me, the police IPO collected my phone. He read the message, So I said, look at this. If you are saying he wants to kill himself, why would he say he wants to come back home? That place is not for him. He said, Mama, please, I want to come back home. This place is not for me. Somebody can die here without anybody batting an eyelash. Probably he had a premonition of his death. So they kept dragging, till around 3. Then they said, when those boys said they have made arrangement for my accommodation, that registrar, that woman, she said, no, that I'm going to stay in the hotel belonging to the school. So immediately those children were afraid. They just backed off. They took me to that hotel, very, very far from the school, inside bush. One very massive hotel like that, like this kind of Gothic kind of building. It was scary for me. So they said that after I should go and maybe freshen up, that they will come and take me to the police station again. So around 3 in the evening, they came, around 5, they came back again. The school authority sent to that Jude and one girl who is like, I think she's half Arab, half German. They took me to the school, to the police station. They kept delaying me in the police station. There were some people going in and out until around 7 or so in the night. I was there. Then the IPO now called me, and we went. He said, do I agree that my son, committed suicide? I said, even you yourself, do you believe in your heart of hearts that he committed suicide? Then he just looked at me. He said, maybe they are thinking maybe somebody pushed him. I said, somebody pushed him? I don't believe it. In fact, the only thing I can say is maybe it was an accident. I don't even believe it was an accident. That was what I told him. I said, but what I know is that all of us will stand before God on the day of judgment. And on that day, there will be justice. So he was just shocked when I told him that. I said, yes, on that day, there will be justice. So while we were there, he was called out a bit, as God will have it. The shock I was in on that very day. He was called out a bit for something, I don't know. Then my eyes were attracted to a document on his table. I saw the handwriting of my son on that one letter-headed paper of the school, which was even in Turkish language, the letter-headed paper. So when I saw my son's handwriting, I became curious. I carried the paper. I read it. I saw that my son wrote his name at the top of that. Is like a memo, an A4 paper, like a letter-headed paper of the school. He wrote his name and signed. But in the body of the document, it wasn't my son's handwriting. In the body of the document, there was an instruction saying that money should be transferred from my son's school account to one Okechukwu somebody. My son had sent his elder brother a message telling him that he said, I will tell mother to stop paying this school fees. I've realized everything about this place is a scam. That was what he sent. And that is why I feel that that school has a hand, because my son discovered something and maybe he protested. More so with that document, I saw that they could transfer money into some other people's account. Maybe the children will be threatened and so on. Looking that he wasn't the one that gave the instruction, but he wrote his name and signed on top. I don't know what threat he was under. So he sent, remember he was in 300 level at a point, and it's a huge, big university. At a point last year or 2018, he called me and said, Mama, he was so worried. He said, do you know that civil engineering course is not accredited in this university? I said, how? He said, that's what they came out with now. That's what they are telling us. That is only electrical engineering and industrial engineering. So what will he do if he wants to go and do his master's? If that course is not accredited and he's going to Europe to do his master's. So he said he wanted to change his course to industrial engineering. I said, how can you change your course now at this level? He said, he doesn't mind finishing with his civil, but he's afraid that his certificate will be useless. So I called, there's one Miss Ayla, she's a Turkish Cyprus too, who was in charge of the international office in the school. She confirmed that the course was not accredited, and they have been admitting students. So his father, we spoke with my husband, he said, let him, since it's all engineering, no problem, let him do the change of course. And I know he changed his course. But when they decided to give me his transcript, there was nothing like industrial engineering there. I know he did not do his registration for the final semester that he died, because I kept telling him, go and do your registration. He said, no, he wants to change his school. But what they showed me was that he attended classes, so I know that result was manufactured. Because and it's different from what my son has been sending to me as his result. So something is going on. Students are being killed. And since the day they took me to that hotel, all the students, nobody showed up again. They had even started a protest, Justice for Khalil. The police made sure they doused that, and the children are afraid. Up until now, not one single person, how many months, since October, can tell me that this is exactly what happened, how Khalil was killed. They are all afraid. So we feel that with the Honorable Chairman's intervention, we know that this will be publicized, because my children had even started going on Twitter, and I said, don't, wait, let's see what the outcome of the investigation will be. Immediately, my daughter posted something. They hacked her WhatsApp account. They also attempted hacking her Twitter account. My son's Twitter account, my late son's Twitter account, they kept like reporting it until it was blocked. Probably there's some evidence there. You know, so, and the thing is, these Turkish Cypriots, they are kind of, you know, aligned to each other. So we were even thinking that maybe we'll get a private investigator there, but we don't know if we can trust anyone there. So earlier, his father was concerned that let it not be it's only Khalil's name that will be mentioned. I say it's not only Khalil, so many of the children. And God has blessed us and put us in a position that we can assist and see that, help that these killings come to an end or something is done about it, because it has been happening. And we have over 8,000 Nigerian students in Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. So that is why we sent a petition earlier to the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We met the minister, and he initiated an investigation, directed the mission in Turkey to investigate. So they kept contacting the Turkish Cypriot authorities. They said they sent samples to Germany for autopsy. For more than 3 months, they kept up to 6 months. They kept hedging our plea for justice for our son, Ibrahim Khalil Bello.
The death of Ibrahim Khalil should be the tipping point to a stop in the killing of our children anywhere in the world, particularly in Northern Cyprus. As you said, it's not only Ibrahim. I can go through names. I have some names here. Ibrahim Khalil Bello, 25. Kennedy Dede, 28. Augustine Ngok from Plateau State. Gabriel Soriwe, who was a first-year student in electronical engineering. Oshabanjo Owoyale. Augustine Wallis. Stanley Eterno. Hazan Babatunde. Temitayo Adigun. Kubat Abraham. Ozegbe God's Power. Olashubomi Okwe. These are just a few of the ones that we even know. Now, I remember sometime I was in Parliament. This Soriwe was killed. And we, went out there and said this should stop. In the middle of saying we will not tolerate any more killings of our students in Northern Cyprus, they actually came to Nigeria. Somebody informed me, I went to meet them at Sheraton Hotel and drove them out. I said, you are coming to this country where a student has just been killed in your university. And you're coming to offer scholarship, and they left. They never came back again. But then, because we don't follow up things, they had the audacity. Yes. They actually come into Nigeria to recruit students. So, madam, in this disaster, in this bad news, we have to make something out of it. The death of Khalil will be a tipping point to stop all these killings of Nigerian students, particularly in Northern Cyprus. Now, the problem is most Nigerian parents do not know. Northern Cyprus is not recognized by any country in the world. It's not a UN-recognized country. It's only recognized by Turkey. And that is why we haven't been able to do much. Who do you report to? Who do you take this case to? Thousands of Nigerians are schooling there. I'm telling you, hundreds have been killed. And similar situation, they just tell you, well, they committed suicide. And nothing happens. Nothing happens because Northern Cyprus is not a recognized country by any country in the world apart from Turkey. So what we need to do, we're going to list all these names that we know of Nigerians that have been killed, and we demand justice. There's been none that has been, no prosecution, no compensation. It happens like that, and they still come to Nigeria to recruit more students. So we're going to write the names of the universities out, put them in the public domain. It's not even about the universities, it's about that country itself. No Nigerian parent, I'm appealing to you, should send your children to Northern Cyprus, to any university in Northern Cyprus. There's a collaboration which we still don't understand that makes them kill blacks, particularly our Nigerian students who are usually the most. So we'll work with you, madam, to ensure that we demand justice not only for Ibrahim, but for all those students that have been killed. And tell every parent, please, forget about going to school in Northern Cyprus. Yes, our country has challenges. Yes, there's strike. Yes, you don't know where you finish. But there are some of these universities that, I mean, you'll always regret that you even went to.
Yes.
I don't want to talk about the West African continent. Went to a university that was a porter cabin in the middle of a market.
Can you imagine a university?
It's better to go to some of these private universities here than go to some of these places we go to, and we'll all say our children are in Europe. So we will make a point of duty to let the world know that for Northern Cyprus in particular, nobody should send their children to Northern Cyprus. No matter what scholarship or whatever. A lot of Nigerians have been killed and nothing happened. So with Ibrahim Khalil, with you coming up to take this course, and I'm glad you're all in the legal profession, we'll work with you to ensure that we don't keep quiet about this and others. And also warn parents, be careful of where you send your children to. They all come looking so fantastic and looks attractive, but they are not. So on our part, we've seen the ambassador of Turkey. He said he wasn't aware of any of these deaths. We brought it to his attention. We're waiting for post-COVID. And we've also said, Turkey, we're going to go there to see for ourselves of what is going on post-COVID. We've had a discussion with him, and he was very supportive and said, yes, we'll work together. He claimed not to have known. He's new. So now that he knows, we'll work with him. Also, our mission in Turkey have done quite a lot, but there's a limit to which they can do if there's no support and there's no public awareness. And I want to work, we'll also work with the mission to ensure that this school, not even the schools, the whole of Northern Cyprus, don't send your children there. Because on my list now, there are different universities.
And even the NUC need to...
Yes, no, we've even written the NUC.
Yes.
So there should be a practical statement about schools that your children should not go to. Number one is Northern Cyprus. It's too much. It is too much.
It's too much.
It's too much, and like I said, Ibrahim's case might just be the tipping point to help us put a stop to it. Now, we also work with the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, and the case has been transferred to the Interpol from the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation. So that is remarkable progress. So what we'll do as a commission is follow up, because all you need is closure.
Yes.
We can't bring Ibrahim back, but you need closure. Let's know what killed him. We're glad that you were able to stand up. For those others that we got we couldn't even reach the families. So there was no case of help us look into this thing. So there was no, but we have a whole long list, and we get more from good enough. Balogun also has been with us from the National Assembly, so he knows what I'm talking about. So accept our condolence, and these are the facts of the matter. The case is now with Interpol, courtesy of the Attorney General of the Federation. Our mission in Turkey has been working on all these cases. But for now, Nigerian parents, please, when you hear Northern Cyprus, don't send your children there. We have to put that out there. Yes. A lot of Nigerian children have died in Northern Cyprus, which is a country not recognized by the UN, recognized by only Turkey. And there must be a reason for that. So why do you want to send your children to a country that's not recognized by any country in the world? So that should be out there.
And these killings are not happening in Turkey, but
no.
They are happening in Northern Cyprus.
They're happening in no, that's what I'm saying. Turkey is the only country that recognizes Northern Cyprus. So Northern Cyprus has a problem. I have to go to Turkey to report. So when you report to the Turkish government, it's not their responsibility, basically. But they are the only ones who are in partnership with them. So the only thing we can do now is put pressure on Turkey. Because who do you talk to in Northern Cyprus? We don't recognize them. And we have to, and the key thing is blacklist Northern Cyprus from our students going to that country to study.
Yes.
Please, it's better to go to any other university, even within Nigeria, and then we know that we have to fix the educational system. And I know that this administration will do everything possible. It's not going to happen in a day, but it has to happen.